Hi, this is Jim from Safety Wars. Before we start the program, I want to make sure everyone understands that we often talk about OSHA and EPA citations, along with some other regulatory actions from other agencies, legal cases, and criminal activity. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Proposed fines are exactly that, and they are often litigated, reduced, or vacated. We use available public records, news accounts, and press releases. We cannot warranty or guarantee the details of any of the stories we share, since we are not directly involved with these stories, at least not most of the time. Enjoy the show.
This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
And welcome to Season 5 of Safety Wars. How's everybody doing out there? Anyway, a lot going on. I did not get around to uploading Friday's program. We'll do that very shortly here. It was on the streamers, but not on the podcast thing. So we're working on it. We're working on it. I want to thank Jay Allen. I want to thank my family. I want to thank everybody else for making this possible. And we're only looking forward to expanding and improving. Right, we're safety people. We're always about learning and improving and expanding. And I'll continue to be your all-around great guide, safety guy. I am the safety guy on your side. That's me. Safety Wars. We live in very interesting times. I'll leave it at that. Extremely interesting times. Well, what do you mean, Jim? I tell you what, a lot going on here. This is the times that try men's souls, so they say, right? So, what are we going to be doing here? This is a lot of the part of the safety war is getting accurate, honest information. I think we could all agree on that. Can we all agree on that? Yeah? Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Yeah. Yeah, that's basically, is getting accurate information. Because as we know, bad information leads to bad decisions. And we are constantly being bombarded with information that is often very inaccurate. Extremely inaccurate. Well, what do you mean, Jim? I mean, very inaccurate. I don't know what else to say. We experience life. We experience life where a lot going on. We have a lot going on. And what happens is people deal with little snippets of information and run with it. And what are we, one of the things is, I had to hear, there's no such thing as Social Security fraud. Okay? Guess what? There is Social Security fraud. Oh, it won't do that. And that's all in relation to the, to what's going on in Washington here, right? No, I've been following the news for an awful long time. There's Social Security fraud all the time. The question is how much, and does it really make a difference? The answer is, and as we mentioned recently, and they're going to update the statistics this week. It should be this week, maybe next week, is that for the federal government to raise $1 million, right? To raise $1 million, it's 15.7 years of work for the average worker, right? I started using this number, and I do know that people are listening to this show out there. I know it absolutely for a fact because, and we're going to edit a little bit more, we had the Secretary of Labor, Lori Chavez, right, the proposed one. I don't believe that she's been voted in as of yet, and we'll talk about what I was doing today as a public service announcement, hasn't been voted in yet. I believe the vote is scheduled. If it hasn't happened already, it's going to happen this week on her. What were they talking about? They were talking about, and there's a lot of questions on child labor, and are these like the children that are coming up that are undocumented, right? And what's she going to do about it? We're really the only program talking about this. I'm sure there's some obscure website and maybe on LinkedIn a couple of posts on it, but we're like the only program talking about it. And there are a whole bunch of other issues also that are out there that people talk about, that we talk about on the program, that ended up in the Senate hearing on this thing. So we know people are listening. So even if there's $1 million in fraud and misallocation, right? That's 15.7 years or 15.7 man years of work that goes into that $1 million. The way it is. We're going to talk about that in a minute here after we go to commercials. I had a medical procedure today here with I had a medical procedure here today. It is specifically I had a colonoscopy, and no, everything turned out okay. I didn't have any symptoms or anything. The doctor just wanted to go up and take a look because there were some concerns, family history, that sort of thing. I want to stress it to you how important it is to go for a colonoscopy. Very, very, very important here. Reason being, why are you talking about it? Why? I've known two people who have died from colon cancer in my life. One I knew, the other one was one of my friends, his mother. What my experience is, again, I'm not giving medical advice or making any recommendations. You need to go to your own doctor for that, and your own, and you know who knows your medical history. You gotta, seek out good, wise counsel on this. The cases that I've heard of colon cancer, either I've read or I know or things like that, and it's been, you don't know you have it until it's like stage 3 or stage 4. It's relatively asymptomatic. So it's important, because I have a family history of not colon cancer but other colon issues. So I'm on like the 5-year program. But usually it's between 5 and 10 years you go through the check on the screen. The first time I went was during COVID, the height of COVID, and I don't believe around when it comes to this. When it comes to this kind of stuff, I was delayed by a year because of all the COVID craziness, right? And I had mine in, I believe it was 2021. So I had it 4 years ago, but there was issues coming up, so that I'm not going to discuss that they felt I needed to go again. So, but anyway, the doctor comes out and says, "Hey, Jimmy, first I woke up in the middle of the procedure. That didn't happen today. At least they said it happened. They knocked me back. I don't want to be out for nothing right now. You knocked me out I'm out. All right. I mean, it was bizarre. I'm talking to the doctor and I'm watching this up, watching your colon up on the camera and everything. It's pretty cool because I watch stuff like that, but anyway, he says to me, Mr. Posel, let me be very, very frank with you. Thank God you came in now for this. I said, really? He said, yeah, we took off a number of polyps here, and I forget what the number was. He said, and one of them was huge. It was like 2 centimeters, 2.5 centimeters. I'm really not supposed to take off anything more than that, anything larger than that. But it was right at the limit. I thought I could do it. I got it done. He said, had you waited another year, we would have a significantly different outcome, and this would have been a significantly different conversation we're having. So he says, I realize COVID and delay and everything, but don't screw around with this. You gotta keep on top of this. So thankfully, then everything worked out. I imagine everything will work out this time. They sent everything out for a biopsy but do not screw around. If you need a colonoscopy, go and get it. Any of these medical testing. So what is a colonoscopy? So basically, it was like if you're a Star Trek fan, the Borg with a probe, and it has like a probe on it, and with all different types of instruments on the end. So so basically a long flexible tube is inserted into the rectum, and tiny video camera is at the tip of the tube, allows the doctor to view the inside of the entire colon. And you get pictures at the end of it, too. They're pretty cool pictures. If necessary, polyps or other types of abnormal tissue can be removed through the scope during the colonoscopy. Tissue samples, biopsies can be taken during a colonoscopy as well. And what do they do for? Investigate intestinal signs and symptoms. So abdominal pain, rectal bleeding, chronic diarrhea, and other intestinal problems. Screen for colon cancer, right? Look up for more polyps or treat an issue of some sort. That's basically it. And what I hear, and it's absolute baloney as far as I'm concerned, absolute and complete baloney. I don't want to go for the colonoscopy because of the prep. The prep is horrible. That stuff is horrible tasting. Jim, you wouldn't believe how horrible. This is all I hear. Really? Okay, is it like the best thing I've tasted? No, but it's similar to like some of the sports drinks that people drink. I mean, let's be honest, And I drink, you see what I drink here on the air. It's a brand of soda that has stevia in it. So it's a little bit different. I like it, but some people don't like it. And when I said to the doctor, we were commenting, hey, this proposal, how did you do on colon prep? Thumbs up, no problem. I said, I tell you what, everybody complains about that drink that they give you. I said, if you throw a little bit of alcohol in it, and we could probably sell that as a new sports drink at a bar, and it would have a dual purpose. He says, well, Jimmy, what do you mean dual purpose? The dual purpose is that you'd be able to make money off it, but the other thing is it's a prophylactic. He says, why would you be a prophylactic? I said, you're not doing anything else, run into the bathroom. And ha, ha, ha. He got a really good laugh out of it. So, it doesn't taste bad at all. I mean, it's Could it taste better? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know, but come on. For the benefit that you're getting, it's really big, really good. And that's all I'll say on that. Enough about my colon issues here. So, but something you really got to keep on top of. Check with your doctor with that, especially if you have a family history of that. And we're going to go to commercial break.
In an unpredictable world, one voice rises above the chaos. Meet Jim Polzo, a seasoned safety expert who's navigated through some of the most dangerous scenarios, from anthrax, explosive cleanups, disasters, and numerous environmental cleanups, and lived to tell the tale. Now he's bringing his wealth of knowledge, insights, and experiences to you through Safety Wars. From workplace hazards to the hidden dangers in your own home, Jim covers it all with his engaging storytelling. Safety Wars isn't just a podcast, it's your guide to a safer world. Join Jim Polzo and become part of the Safety Wars revolution. Available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts and videos. Safety Wars. Your safety is our mission.
Have you listened or watched the Safety War show? It does stream live on the radio and on the streamer-emers that we have. So if you have not taken a listen to Jim Polzo and what the hell he's doing every evening with Safety Wars, I would strongly encourage you to take a view or take a listen, whichever option is available for you, and take a listen to what the hell he has going on. It will take some deep dives and some information that you might be interested in.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hackneyed? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that is designed to actually address and assess your hazards and liabilities and is not standardized baloney from generations ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com safetyfm.com or call me, Jim Polzel, at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you are receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces. Let's hear Jessica. OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Polzel with Safety Wars.
That's my daddy.
Yes, I am your father. So one of our, and I'll throw a little plug in there for him. He's been encouraging me and on occasion gives me some comments when I run into him around town. Coach PR from Shady 45. He's local here in New City. I run into him at sporting events around town. Our kids are involved in sports. And no, he been coaching me a little bit, and he's like, Jim, you got to offer this and offer that and offer that. So we're going to be expanding that. It's been tough here. So season 5, we're looking up for things, are looking up here. And this week I'm going to make an attempt to be here every day, even on Ash Wednesday. So with this. Now, this came across, and I'm a little bit disappointed here. And I'm going to send this over to him here, some information. So this was, and I can't play this because this is from another website here. No, I don't have a licensing agreement with them, but I'll read off the portion here. In an interview, Sean Duffy, the Secretary of Transportation, has claimed that pilots should lose their license if they've made an error that resulted in an incident, already circumventing the NTSB board by saying that some of the recent safety events involving U.S. airlines could be pinned on pilot error. In an exclusive interview with NBC Nightly News, Duffy responded to whether he still shares the view which he expressed following the near miss at Chicago Midway International, MDW, that pilots should lose their license if they make a mistake. He said hell yes. The near miss at Chicago Midway and going on, there was a thing, you could go and check it out. There's a video on it. Now, this is problematic, right? Very, very problematic. When you are doing an investigation, I don't care if it's airline, I don't care if it's a fire, I don't care if it's this, workplace injury, it doesn't matter. What do you want to do? No, I mean, after the dust clears, you respond to the accident, what do you want to do? You want to have an investigation. And why are you having an investigation? This is a question that we all have to ask as safety professionals, accident investigators, anything like that. You want information, correct? You want information. And this is the disadvantage of not having safety professionals involved in some of these agencies here. And if they are involved, we're not talking old school safety people. You have to have, and especially the NTSB and FAA, a lot of this stuff is, critical. It's, you're talking multiple lives, catastrophic losses. You want to try to prevent the next one. You not only want to, okay, well, let's see what happened here. Well, let's try to prevent the next one. And as we know, as safety professionals, everyone wants to get to that root cause. They want to do that taproot. Root cause. Find the root cause. Guess what? Root causes are negotiable in most organizations. Hey, how do they manifest themselves? Hey, Jimmy, don't be so hard on that guy. He's like our best guy. He'll get the job done. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah. No. Ever hear it sound familiar? Or, you know what? Or you even think to yourself, you know what? That guy, Frank, is such a nice guy. I don't want to be too hard on him. So we're not, blah, blah, blah. Or, you know what? This guy, Joe, over here, we're just looking for an excuse to get rid of him. We got a file, built up on him. We need to get rid of him, blah, blah, blah. So let's make the root cause analysis go towards him. And we're going to, or, you have to show who's in charge. Jim, you have to show who's in charge. You have to find out, shame, blame, and retrain. Or as someone at a refinery, right, in Central Jersey said, well, hey, there was an accident. We had to figure out what happened, and we had to figure out who's to blame, and blah, blah, blah. And guess what? We're going to go and get that person. And then you put everybody under fear. Oh, we're all afraid to say anything. And then, well, now we're going to fire you for lying because you weren't quite frank with us. And you just want to say to the person, some choice words. We'll leave it at that. At that point. And then you find out from the people in the hop industry, I won't mention who, that, that organization, they had human and organizational performance training, know that what they're doing is wrong, and they're doing it anyway. So now the question is, I work with these organizations, we do a little intro to hop course for them, and then we do the accident investigation or the incident investigation. I don't even call it that. I use the friend Sutton. What he taught us here and the other friend. Learning teams. We're going to learn what happened. Well, I don't need to learn. I've done that job before. When did you do that job? Oh, I came up 25 years ago doing that job. Now I'm a plant manager. I'm a manager. I know what the work is. Guess what doesn't happen? Not going to happen. You don't know what goes on in that field. You don't know what the context is. Why? Yeah, it's human error, right? So let's get back to the thing at hand. Human error. Well, okay. Well, you know what happens when someone hands me an accident investigation that says human error? Right, so I'm usually in the role of working for a GC, general contractor, environmental management firm. Doesn't matter what you call them, host, employer, what have you. When I get an accident investigation back and it says, we can blame this on human error, I throw it back. Well, what are you going to do about it? Human error. How are you going to mitigate human error? Okay, it's human error for this guy that you just fired. How do I know this other guy, human error? Why was there human error? What happened here? Was your job site set up safely? Right? Was it set up safely? Why was there human error? We go into the Jens Rasmussen modes of work. Was he in the lack of knowledge mode or the knowledge mode? Was he in the rules mode or was he in the skills mode? Because, what do you mean? Well, was the job set up right? Was it set up so if there was a problem and you had multiple safeguards here, right? Because safety is about capacity and resilience and safeguards, and was it resilient? No, was the guy, was he able to fail safely here? If something went wrong, are you relying on a single point failure? Or what are you doing here? You get out the hierarchy of controls. Put up the hierarchy of controls. What are you relying on to prevent an injury here? We're relying on administrative controls. We're going to have to make a rule to do something. Oh, really? You look at the administrative controls, the hierarchy of controls, administration, isn't that like towards the bottom, meaning you're going to change a rule? And isn't that like one of the most least reliable methods? He wasn't wearing safety glasses. Why wasn't he wearing safety glasses? Are you enforcing the rules? Is he not wearing safety glasses because it seemed to make sense at the time for him not to wear safety glasses? Does he not have the training? Does he not have the understanding? Did he tell you to go bleep yourself? I'm not wearing safety glasses. And if that's the case, why is that person still here? Why did he tell you that? Up here in the New York area, what do you think that I do? Well, what training have you had? Oh, he's 30-hour trained. Okay, can I see the card? That's not required for this job. Well, you said he's 30 hours, so let's see the card. And then you get to talking to the employee, no? And the employee says, he just handed me the card. I didn't go for any training. One of my favorite stories is a guy dropped a conveyor at a warehouse onto his foot. And I said, well, can I see your boots? He came in the next day. Well, you had to go to urgent care. Came in the next day with a cast on his foot. Oh, when we're doing the accident investigation. I said, okay, well, what did you drop on your foot? Oh, I dropped this on my foot. I said, it's like 20 pounds. I said, okay, 20 pounds. Why are your toes smashed? Why are you in a cast? Oh, my toes are all broken. Okay. From that? Yeah. I said, can I see your boots? Oh, yeah, here they are. I said, these are not safety toe shoes. What's going on here? I said, just your toes, according to the medical report. What's going on here? Well, thank God I didn't have those steel toe boots on. Okay, why is that? And he's saying this in front of, like, me, and I have my dude on the site, and I have the client, the main client, big company, that their safety person on site. I have this person on site. I have that person on site. I have that person on site. I'm like, okay. Now they're putting me on the spot here. I said, what are you talking about? I said, hold on. What are you talking about? Well, if I had steel toe boots on, my toes would have all been amputated. I was like, number one, that's not true. And who told you that? Well, no. So they were supposed to go over this in your outreach class that you just showed me the card on. Well, my boss just gave me that outreach card. Oh, okay. I said, who told you your toes would be amputated? Oh, all my coworkers. I said to him, really? I said, okay, now we're going to go through our standard thing. We start going through the whole thing, how to do the acts investigation, how to do this. Okay. And I have a very lengthy questionnaire for this, to collect facts. Because working for a general contractor, you have to go, and there's a real possibility of being sued. And I get to this, well, how did you get the job? That's always, how did you get the job? Did you apply on paper, or news, not news, but that was online? Did you do this? Oh, my dad works there. I said, oh, who's your dad? Oh, my dad is so-and-so. Okay, so your dad's like the project manager, yeah. And his dad, I like this father, but he's one of those project managers no one likes. He's very demanding, very, right? And a lot of people don't like him or anything else. I said, oh, really? I said, did it ever occur, and we go through steel toe boot, the whole thing, right? I said to him, did it ever occur to you that, what do you think? I said, let me back up here. I said, what do people think about your father? They said, they hate his guts. They hate his guts. Nobody likes him. He's not, he's very strict, very, very, he was this, this experience. I said, okay. So I said, did it ever occur to you that maybe they're giving you bad safety information in the hopes that you're going to get hurt? So you're not your father's eyes and ears in the field? Do you think that anybody would do that? Oh, no, they wouldn't do that. I said, well, they just gave you bad information on steel toe boots. I said, let me guess what story it was. They probably explained it this way because it's always the same story. They had, or a variation thereof, they had a father, grandfather, great-grandfather, great-uncle, or some other authority figure in their family that worked either on a shipyard, and he was a longshoreman, working on Skid Row or something similar in the Pacific Northwest, logging or something like this. And he was a huge load, right? Maybe 3-4 tons, maybe more, he got underneath it somehow. And just as he was getting underneath it, the rigging let loose and this thing fell, and it had to be from at least 50 or 60 foot up in the air. This thing fell and landed on his toes. And if it weren't for that steel toe, he would have been, he would still have his toes today. Does that sound familiar? The guys look at it and says, yeah, that's pretty much the story. It was, in his case, it was something else. I said, okay. And everybody here around the table is laughing at this point and giggling. I said, we've all heard that story, right? Everybody? We've all heard that story. I said, first of all, you got to be careful about putting your feet in the line of fire, number one. Number two, you had a forklift. You were carrying this by hand, and it was an awkward lift. You had a forklift available for you to do this. And are you like, and I had the supervisor there, the supervisor said, are you behind schedule? Are you in a rush? I said, everybody always wants to be ahead of schedule. I said, but are you behind schedule? Is there a scheduling thing here? He said, no. I said, okay. And he's 18 years old. Who was working with him? And he's only been in the industry like a month and a half. Who do you have him working with? There's like I have him working with, whatever the guy, Joe. I have worked with Joe. I said, isn't Joe like 19 years old? And he's 18 years old? How long? And Joe is like new to the industry. He says, yeah. And, it goes on and on and on. What's the point here? No, what's the point? I'm not here to shame and blame. There's a lot going on here. So now when I put all of the things together, and you want to assign blame, was it these two gentlemen to blame? One was 19, one was 18, one was in the industry a year and a half. The other one was in the industry like a month and a half. Or was it their fault? They see other people, they're walking around doing things, and they're in the knowledge mode, right? With that. So, same thing with these pilots here, these air traffic controllers. You got a lot of things going on here. For there to be a near miss, like was in this case that Secretary Duffy was talking about, there's a lot going on. There's got to be the fact that there was a near miss and not an accident is a miracle. I'd be interested in how the belief was this not an accident. And thank God we have enough resilience and capacity in the system that we didn't have an issue. Let's look on the positive side here. We have an issue, but it's not, we didn't have any fatalities here. So let's try to find out what happened. And if you're going to come down all adversarial on people, because I tell you what, even if I was a pilot, I would be less inclined to actually share any information with this guy or cooperate with the investigators. I'm telling you right off this is the attitude of people here with this, why would I cooperate on anything? Perhaps it was an air traffic control issue. Too much going on. Not enough people. We've heard that over the last 2 months. There are not enough people there to do the work. Maybe it was a software issue. You're going to blame that on the person, the software issue? You're going to blame this? You're flying a plane, you got 20 things, 30 things going on at one time. May have been an experienced pilot. May have been an equipment malfunction. It might have been a lot of things. The other thing is this. Why do you have, when you're driving, why do you have insurance? Why? Well, the law says you got to have insurance. Yeah, but I can control what I do and my reactions, generally speaking. Now, things might happen. Deer runs out on the road. Or we had a guy over here driving along about 3 or 4 years ago. He's just driving along on the Palisades Parkway, and a tree comes out of nowhere, falls on the car, killing him. Right? Can't control those things. Right? You have insurance because you're insuring what someone else might do to you. You don't have control over what the other driver does at all. Right? So there's a lot that goes on. What do we have back here? We have our Jenga pile. Right? And you're taking out the bottom brick. Right? I might just keep this up until we have a problem here. Right? It'll be the Jim's Jenga thing. So we're taking out a bottom brick here. We're moving on up to the top. Right? It didn't collapse. When that collapses, who's to blame? Well, I'm the only one playing. But if you're with a group of people, that's how accidents happen. A lot goes on prior to that going up. Right? Just the way it is with that. So, again, we're going to tag this. I'm going to make a video out of this section here. I'm going to send it on over to the president and everything else. I'm going to be tagging because I tell you what, they're all reading this stuff. And no, someone on their staff is. That's for damn sure. I don't know who. I know who it is, by the way. I have a pretty good idea with that. So we're going to go to our next commercial break.
Oh. 2025, it's rolling in. Safety first, let's start the spin. Protect your hands, your eyes, your grid. OSHA's here, let's all begin. Fireworks, they light the skies, but safety glows within our eyes. Goggles, gloves, a wise disguise. Keep those limbs, love, no goodbyes. Or drop the ball, not the guard. OSHA rules may seem so hard, but they're here to keep us smart. Safe and sound in every part.
Okay, let's go to our next one. I lost the website here. Hang on.
In a world where danger lurks in every corner, one man stands as a beacon of hope. Jim Posel, a veteran safety expert with over 3 decades of experience, now bringing his knowledge to you with Safety Wars. Engaging, informative, and always relevant. That's Safety Wars. Join the safety revolution with Safety Wars, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts and videos.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hackneyed? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that is designed to actually address and assess your hazards and liabilities and is not standardized baloney from generations ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call me, Jim Posel, at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you are receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces. Okay, so here I had this here, and I cannot find it now. So we're gonna do it around this here, right? So Elon Musk getting a lot, and again, this is not in support of what he says or anything. But like I said, we're talking about fact here, right? So he called Social Security a Ponzi scheme. What is a Ponzi scheme? This is a common definition. A Ponzi scheme is an investment scam that pays early investors with money taken from later investors to create an illusion of big profits. A Ponzi scheme promises a high rate of return with little risk to the investor. It relies on word of mouth as new investors hear about the big returns earned by early investors. Inevitably, the scheme collapses when the flow of new money slows, making it impossible to keep up with payments of alleged profits. A Ponzi scheme is similar to a pyramid scheme that is both that both new investors' funds to pay earlier backers. The pyramid scheme usually relies on rewarding early participants to recruit more participants, but collapses when the supply of potential participants dwindles. A Ponzi scheme relies on a growing stream of new investors. So, what is that's basically it. So how does Social Security work on this? All right. Here we have a fact sheet, and this is off of the Social Security. Let me share it since I'm allowed to share that. A fact sheet on Social Security here. So this is right from the website. In 2025, an average of almost 69 million Americans per month will receive Social Security benefit, totaling about $1.6 trillion in benefits paid during the year. So Social Security is a major source of income for most people over the age of 65. Nearly 9 out of 10 people aged 65 or older were receiving Social Security benefits as of December 31st of last year. Social Security benefits represent 31% of the income of people over age 65. Among Social Security benefits are age 65 and older. Again, that's scary. That's only 11 years for me, right? 39% of men and 40% of women receive 50% or more of their income from Social Security. This information is from research released in 2024 using 2015 data. And click on here for info. Retired workers and their dependents accounted for 78% of total benefits. So, and it goes on and on and on with that. In 1940, the life expectancy of a 65-year-old was almost 14 years. Today, it is over 20 years. The number of Americans 65 and older will increase from about 61 million in 2023 to 77 million by 2035. Oh. Demographics. I thought, people get pissed off when I discuss demographics on this show, right? And the importance of this, right? In 2023, there were an estimated 2.7 covered workers for each Social Security beneficiary. By 2035, trustees estimate there will be 2.4 covered workers for each beneficiary, meaning it's going to be more and more expensive as we go along because our population demographics is going to change with this. Now, I am here. Fraud. I lost the website here. Let me go and put something on here for you people on the air, and we'll get back to you. Hold on. Because this is important here.
In an unpredictable world, one voice rises above the chaos. Meet Jim Polzo, a seasoned safety expert who's navigated through some of the most dangerous scenarios, from anthrax, explosive cleanups, disasters, and numerous environmental cleanups, and lived to tell the tale. Now he's bringing his wealth of knowledge, insights, and experiences to you through Safety Wars. From workplace hazards to the hidden dangers in your own home, Jim covers it all with his engaging storytelling. Safety Wars isn't just a podcast, it's your guide to a safer world. Join Jim Polzo and become part of the Safety Wars revolution. Available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts and videos. Safety Wars. Your safety is our mission.
Hard hat on my head, set the alarm. High voltage love in your arms. Steel toe boots, steal my heart. Now love's a machine, start to start. Danger signs, but we don't mind. We're safety certified. Hearts aligned, locked out, tagged out, hearts entwined. You and me, we're one of a kind. Fire extinguisher, spark of desire. Emergency exits, this love's on fire. Hard hat and real, yeah, we comply. Our love's as strong as reinforced supply. Our love's like gears, it turns so true. Turbines of passion spinning with you. Mechanical love, it's built to last. Safety first, romance moving fast. Danger signs, but we don't mind. We're safety certified. Hearts aligned, locked out, tagged out, hearts entwined. You and me, we're one of a kind. Worksite romance, it's OSHA approved. Love that's steady, never misused. Red tape barriers can't keep us apart. Love evolves, safety from the start. Danger signs, but we don't mind. We're safety certified. Hearts aligned, locked out, tagged Worksite romance, it's OSHA approved. Love that's steady, never misused. Red tape barriers can't keep us apart. Love evolves safety from the start. Worksite romance, it's OSHA approved. Love that's steady, never misused. Red tape barriers can't keep us apart. Love evolves safety from the start.
So the podcast is pre-recorded, but the video is going to be released a little bit later on. I got to do some editing here. So here we have the Office of Inspector General. Here, I finally got where I erased here. I closed out. So, former Social Security Administration employee, please, no, this is why I'm putting this up. Fraud doesn't exist. These people, none of this stuff is all made up. So here we have, from last Friday, former Social Security Administration employee pleads guilty to attempting to induce a Social Security beneficiary for prostitution. A former Social Security Administration employee pleaded guilty yesterday to attempting to persuade a beneficiary to cross state lines to engage in prostitution. Not going to mention the person's name here with that. Right. So in March 2024, the person at the field office of an individual seeking Social Security benefits after losing her job. After redirecting the individual to another field office near her residence in another state, the person called the individual using the telephone number he obtained from the computer system at Social Security Administration, and he indicated he understood she was in a difficult situation, but maybe they could work something out that would be a benefit for both of them. During a call monitored by law enforcement later that month, the person stated to the individual that they could help each other out and they proposed giving the individual money in exchange for sex. In several subsequent text messages, the person suggested the individual may travel to Massachusetts to meet him, offering to pay her $100 to have sex in a car at a hotel parking lot. Oh, no issues here, right? This is out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. A fugitive wanted for over 4 decades on attempted first-degree murder charges was apprehended in Weed, New Mexico on February 19th following an investigation that uncovered his decades-long use of a deceased man's identity to evade authorities and fraudulently obtain government benefits. Okay, but there is no fraud here. Social Security employee heads to prison for creating fake children's profiles to steal public funds. That doesn't happen here, right? None of this crap happens. We're going to go more. Right, let's go again. Kokomo woman ordered by federal court to repay over $200,000 in stolen retirement benefits from a deceased husband's account. Again, I'm told this doesn't happen, right? Here, with this. Hartford man admits fraudulently collecting Social Security, unemployment, and food stamps. This is just from last week. And it goes on, and it goes on, and it goes on, and it goes on, and it goes on and on and on. Here. Ozark business owner sentenced for Social Security Social Security fraud and perjury. The guy was sentenced to 2 years and 3 months in federal prison without parole, right? And ordered to pay $42,000. And this is from a indoor sand facility, right? And everything. One count of Social Security fraud. The guy was indicted for Social Security fraud, the guy who oversaw his disabled father's benefits from 2016 and 2019 converted $42,369 of his father's benefits to his own use, having testified in his own defense on trial, blah, 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 Charles, going on and on and on and on. But nothing happens. This is just remember, this is only what they report on their website. We know that they do a lot more than that. Now let's go back to what we were saying. We didn't finish the thought. Ponzi scheme, right? We have, and I could show you reports here. I'm going to tell you what. You go onto your Social Security website, but you have, right? And going back, I have it all the way back to like 1996, 1995 paperwork, and I got it now from my parents and from another family member paperwork. They warned us back then that they're going to go broke. That they're not going to be able to meet their obligations. And if you look at the progression from year to year to year to year, what do you find out? You find out a couple of different things. And again, I'm not this is not an investment show. I'm not licensed. I'm not making any financial recommendations. You find out that as the years progress, the time that Social Security is going to be taking in less money than it pays out keeps moving closer and closer, right? So time is progressing on one end, and on the other end, the deadline is, right? So squeezed. So now reportedly, that's already happened already a couple years back. So this is the Ponzi scheme nature of this. Now, one of the things with investing is that we know what's going on now, right? But you don't know what's going on when decisions are made, right? Because prices could go up, could go down, things could go good, things could go bad. So when you look at it overall, it all depends on how long you're going to live. It's that old demographic situation. I know somebody who did not plan at all for retirement, pulled all different kinds of shenanigans and everything. Psychopath, and that's putting it mildly. He said, I'm going to start collecting at 70, right? He didn't plan anything else, and Social Security will help me along. He didn't report income for years, number one. Number two was on the demographic scene, everybody in his family lived up into their 90s from the generation before, except for like accident or somebody got Parkinson's because they got a head injury and that was attributed, that eventually turned into Parkinson's. They blamed that on, right? Other than that, everyone lived into their 90s. So how old is he? He's almost 90 now. You know, no money. Money ran out a long time ago. Money ran down before he signed up for Social Security. He didn't even want to do that. You look at the amount of money you put into Social Security, it's X number of dollars, and the money that you made, that you put into it, you'll get back in about 2 or 3 years max. Absolute max, the last I checked. So that means everybody else has got to support you, right? And again, that is that's what it's a Ponzi scheme similar to a Ponzi scheme, and I think that's what Elon Musk was saying. But you know, I'm not defending him. I'm just trying to explain where this is coming from, because you hear on social media the little clip. Oh, Ponzi scheme. This is not a Ponzi scheme. This is it. He's bad. And then the right does the same thing. And I call them out on that. Well, this person's evil. They're, they did this. They did that. Well, okay. Can we please get to the bottom of things and deal with factual information here? And I hope I did that. And I know that's going to be what season 5 is about. It's going to be about safety. But let's face it. We have to know how to evaluate. We have to know how to evaluate the news that we hear. Is it true? Is it not true? What do we check? What do we double check? Don't believe everything on social media, because right now there's a lot of people with who are very upset that Donald Trump is president, and I have a lot of people who did not support President Trump, but the outlandish things that they are coming up with, they're like wrong. Right? One of the people last week, businesses don't pay taxes. Right? We have to tax them. Well, guess what? You pay a lot of taxes as a business person. Pay an awful lot. They're just talking one particular tax that could be mitigated. But you're paying your employees. If you have employees, you're paying taxes. I'm not a tax guy. Far from it. But again, people don't understand how money is made. We have financial illiteracy in this country that is now coming forth. And you explain to the person, hey, no, that's not the way this is here with this. And just be careful who you listen to. Double check. Be careful what you put on social media, because it may not be true all the time. Now, we have a couple of minutes left here. Some other weird things, right? Man killed in Bar Harbor car park collapse while was hotel firm's Mr. Fix-It. It's out of Bar Harbor, Maine. A Maine native killed Monday when a carport collapsed at a Bar Harbor hotel. Was a long-time employee of the company. The person worked there for 40 years and came to be known as Mr. Fix-It. Here, this is out of Maine, but his most recently was a resident of Boynton Beach, Florida, not far from the resort firm's offices in Delray Beach. And the person on Monday died when a carport canopy collapsed at a hotel which was closed for the winter. This actually almost happened to my brother, believe it or not. We had a rule growing up, no smoking in the house. My brother was a smoker. He recently gave that up. And he was sitting on the front porch, and the snow load came on the front porch. It was aluminum awning. And he came in the house, went upstairs to bed. About 2 minutes later, my father and I were watching TV. Boom! Guess what? The awning came down. Had it been and the way it came down, had he been sitting where he normally sits out there, we probably would have cut him in half. There, so freak accident here with that. But again, OSHA's investigating, and with that, and what are you going to do? With that, what you're going to do is you better train your employees on this stuff and have an experienced health and safety professional check things out. That's all I got here for today. Hoping to be back tomorrow. We're going to edit this. Right, I am recording the video portion, and we will get back to you tomorrow. So, for Safety Wars, this is Jim. OSHA Recordables. For Safety Wars, this is Jim Posel, and we'll be getting back to you in a minute. Tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hi.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.